Go on, what's going on? Big man. You see what happens? You get one prediction right. Man thinks he's the lightweight king of Europe now, yeah?
Come on, the lightweight predictor king of the world.
Boy, I'm gonna have to. This is gonna be a tough show. Now I'm playing, man. But yeah, as per usual, people, we thought we'll do the follow up. Make sure that we get that fan reaction, especially because it was a big fight last weekend. So we want to try and get some fan reaction. Let us know your thoughts, how you saw the fight going down. Don't forget, for those of you that are watching online live and you want to join the show, the free number is 01506 353 955. That's the number at the bottom of the ticker now. And if you're listening to this in the future on iTunes, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you use, please be sure to subscribe and call in. We want to hear from you. We want to get to know you. But as usual, I'm here with the main man, the first predictor. You know what I mean? Nostradamus, Samstradamus. But to be fair, you got your Uncle Benga as well. He got it right as well. But yeah, I'm here with my co-host, Sam. What's going on, big man?
What's happening, people? I'm good. I'm pumped. Boxing a few months ago where it was before in a shit space before fight camp. Now we're here. Fights on fights on fights. We've got a huge heavyweight build up in terms of fights that are coming up. We've got fights next weekend. This week, in comparison to the other fights for the week, it's quite a quiet weekend, but I'm looking forward to getting to the show. I need to hear these fans' opinions, man. I need people to call in. I want to hear everyone that doubted my guy Teofimo Lopez. I want to hear it.
You want to hear it? Yeah, I feel you on that. But yeah, I think in addition to that, there was some news that came out towards the end of the week. Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. That has been announced. And as much as they're fighting for a boxing contest, it seems like they're fighting for a contest to see who's got the better time. I think there's going to be one winner in that fight. That's been announced. We also got the announcement of Kell Brook taking on the man T-Bud Terence Crawford. Would like to get your thoughts on that. Is that a progress for Crawford? Is that is Brook going to be ready? You know, is he going to be able to make weight? Lots of questions around that fight, so definitely want to hear from the fans. And I think outside of that, we saw the announcement of Dion Juma taking on Chris Billam-Smith for their Commonwealth Cruiserweight title. I think that's going to be a really good fight. Domestic scene, bit of noise behind Dion Juma. So he famously called in the studio once when Chamberlain was sitting in the studio and grilled him and tried to get that fight. So he's gone on to bigger pastures, I think it's fair to say. So yeah, looking forward to
props to him.
Exactly, props to him. So I think overall, we've just got to say, you know, we're seeing more and more action and the sport looks like it's back. So I think the best place to start on the weekend gone. I think now I'm not going to say moved on. Marcus Aurelius, yo, what's going on? Thank you, brother. Say hello. Look forward to hearing from you so soon. I think the best place to start really is the fallout. Now we kind of broke down the fight, but one thing I do want to say since then, we're at Tuesday now. Yes, Dave. Yes, it has been officially announced. Top rank has been announced. Officially announced. And we would love to get your thoughts on that. How do you see that fight playing out? But yeah, in terms of Lomachenko, we've not heard nothing from him or his team. A little bit echo with the feed, bro, but we've not heard anything from Lomachenko or his team. Obviously, after the fight, he said he believed he won. I mean, what do we say?
Bro, crazy.
Yes.
Something like that. I think you've been a sore loser, man. You need to take your licks, as people like to say in the old Jamaican saying, take your licks. You got to just take it like a man. You lost. You thought you were confident you was gonna win. You were too confident you were gonna win and outclass him because of your CV. But CVs don't mean anything when you are in the ring and two guys are there battling. As much as it does, it doesn't. And yeah, onwards and upwards for Lopez. Like, Top Rank are gonna be like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lopez leaves Top Rank. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't be surprised because Top Rank already said they were gonna lowball him if he lost.
Wow. Okay, I missed that, but what you think but don't you just think he could just go back to 126 and get some big fights there, in the US and the UK?
No, that's true. That's true. But if I was him, I'll not sit back on my win and be happy. Obviously, celebrate your win because it's huge, but also just kind of strategically see who wants you now because you're a hot commodity, man.
So you said Loma or Lopez is going to leave Top Rank. So I think I missed.
Lopez. Lopez.
Okay, yeah.
The way Top Rank was saying, like, should you win these fights, your maximum purse should be X. He went on the record and said that. I think I saw the interview and I just thought, what kind of promoter would do that? Would you want to do business with a promoter like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I say this for Lopez. I've looked. He's got the division. I think there's still big fights at 135. I would like to see some of those fights, namely probably Haney, number one. He's got the WBC. But Tank Davis, he's got the regular belt of the WBA, and of course, you would even argue a Ryan Garcia. But I think if we're talking like tough challenges, I think if he was to step up and go to 140 and fight the likes of Josh Taylor, Ramirez. Yeah. Well, I mean, Prograis still competing at 140 as well. I think those would be fantastic tests.
I completely agree. Definitely. There's a lot of fights from there. He's now a top prize. He's now a top earner. He's now got the world's his oyster, man. He can really push on, and only at 23. Like, unbelievable. Loma needs to regroup. He'll come back. He will. Someone of that level who's been in the ring that long and that much experience, well, you would hope to think he would come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll get a rematch. I don't think there's much to prove, really, for him. And just kind of move on from there, really. I just think...
I wanted to ask you on that, actually. I don't know how true this is. Again, it's just an article I read. But Joshua was commenting on the fight, bigged up Lopez. But Joshua was saying he felt maybe Lopez should give Lomachenko a rematch.
What? AJ?
Yeah, AJ. What's your thoughts on the rematch? Do you think Lomachenko could start earlier and maybe impress the judges to get more rounds?
If I'm him, honestly, I get what AJ's saying. Like, defend your honor. Boxing's you got to defend your honor, stand your ground, fight, and defend your titles and whatever. But like, bro, he's 23, wants to do way much more. His boxing's bigger than Lomachenko. Boxing's way bigger than Lomachenko. Of course, the rematch will be as exciting as the first fight. I don't think there'll be that much demand because of the way everyone thought Teofimo Lopez would not beat him. But I can see AJ saying that because of the Andy Ruiz type thing and what happened there, and I can understand that. But I think he should move on. There's so many other fights out there, bigger than Lomachenko in terms of money, revenue streams, and everything. And you should be questioning the promoter there in Top Rank. Don't get me wrong, I love Top Rank, I love Bob Arum, I love the team there, but they really thought they didn't have a star here. So if they really thought, why would you not put the rematch clause in the in the contract? And if they're trying to build up that fight, I mean, famously, Arum gave Eddie Hearn criticism for always putting rematch clauses in there.
They're saying it's a 119, 109 scorecard.
Okay, that score was a bit wide, I agree. But he didn't beat him by a landslide, but he did beat him. I would have probably said the scorecard should have been a little bit closer. But 119, 109 is huge, yes.
But I don't think it was mad huge. I mean, sorry, let me say that is mad huge, but I didn't think it was totally unreasonable. But yeah, I'll hopefully Dev calls in and we can get into that. It doesn't look good, but I think sometimes it's more the shock horror. I think for me, Lopez Lopez took the first easy, you could say 6, maybe 7 rounds. So yeah, to get another 3, and he took the 12th. I think that's on paper, but yeah, look, that's semantics. I think we saw the performance, and I just hope with Loma when we're taking it back to Loma, I just hope we do hear from him. And when I say hear from him, in terms of him saying, look, I still want to compete at 126. 135 was just a bit too much for me, but I've still got the heart to carry on, and he's a champion. And I think at 126, there's a lot of guys that he could fight. Maybe even 130, but at 126, he could still fight some of these guys, and I think he will beat them. Tough competition, because now you start saying to yourself, boy, could you imagine somebody like Josh Warrington against Lomachenko now?
Exactly. Exactly, bro. I'm waiting to see some smoke, man. There's so many people even talking about Josh Taylor versus Lopez, and it's crazy.
I hear that, Dave. Yeah.
But everyone says Lomachenko started off slow. Yeah, he did start off slow, but also Teofimo Lopez put him in that position to be sluggish.
Yeah, I mean, Teofimo's jab was.
That jab was what I'm saying. The bodies, he was doing it on purpose. That was the game plan. You could tell the game plan because it was almost like Loma looked like and thought this. I thought Loma went into it, thought this kid would be too overwhelmed. This is much of a big occasion for him.
Yeah. No, for real, man. And for obviously callers dialing in, you see the number at the bottom of the screen: 01506 353 955. Please remember to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter and any other social media platform that you may find us. Help us with that visibility. We need to grow. We need to get money. I need to pay my debt to Sam. You know what I mean? Sam's been rubbing it in my face that he got that prediction right. So I need to pay that debt. You know what I mean? So help me out. Help a brother out. But no, I mean, look, I think I would want to ask this question in terms of, but you know what? By Friday night, I was very excited for this fight. Saturday, I was mad excited. You know, I think like everybody, we all set the alarms, woke up just to make sure we didn't miss it because the undercard was meh. But I want to ask you, do you think that fight in itself, forget the result because we know Lopez won, but do you think the fight delivered in terms of a great classic of a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, tell me why.
100%. This has got to be a classic, goes down there. First of all, fights this year is going to be memorable because it's COVID, it's a pandemic, there's no fans. So you're going to remember those fights that bit more. But also, you've got to understand the build-up of this fight. This guy's been calling this guy out so long. Lopez is saying, I could beat Lomachenko. Don't get me wrong, other people have been calling Lomachenko out, but not the way Lopez was. Lopez was really kind of obsessed, like Klitschko's favorite word, obsessed with beating Lomachenko. And then when the contracts came down, and there was also talk about it, everyone got excited. Then the talks kind of fell through because they weren't able to agree terms. And then Loma was, listen, big man, you want to talk? You want to talk the talk? Let me lower my purse and pay you because I know I'm going to beat you.
But bro, that doesn't answer the question. I'm saying, was the actual fight a classic? I don't think it was.
I think it was up there. No. Okay, in terms of classic boxing, no. Yeah. But in terms of dramatic, and it depends.
The build-up.
To define a classic fight.
Everything like that. But I think actually, if you're watching the fight, because I rewatched the fight obviously on the Sunday as well, and I think for me the key thing was I think that Lopez, I think because Lomachenko didn't do anything in the early rounds and the rhythm and momentum was with Lopez, I think where Lomachenko seemed to get his success from was the fact that Lopez did tire out a little bit, you know, in those later rounds. And I think it was just that he was getting closer to him and throwing the odd shot. So they were competing with each other. You know, he would throw a jab, he would throw a combination, and Lopez would do the same. But I think actually one of the other things that gets missed is that Lopez defensively was actually quite sound during the fight. So for me, I don't see it as a back and forth, like pure excitement. Even if I think back to the Ward Kovalev first fight, that was like anticipation. It was matched. Even you look at Joshua Klitschko, like the anticipation, then the fight on the night it delivered. For me, I think, you know, yes, it was a great matchup in terms of the opponents. But I have to say, you know what? It wasn't a fantastic fight. And I don't know whether that's just because Lopez was so dominant about his performance and it took everybody by surprise. I don't know, but I don't think it was just too one-sided for me. Yeah, so
fair play. No, when you look at it like that, yes and bro. Looking forward.
Big up, you know.
Bro, I hear you, but for me, the reason why I call it a classic is because not just because of the prediction. It's just the fact that a young guy, because everyone talks about the typical model of building up a talented fighter. Before, you know, they get to the kind of real test. So they put him in with so many journeymen, build him up, build the hype up, and then, you know, Lopez has always been great, but so he hasn't had that many journeymen he's fought, man. Yeah. He's actually called out, and when he got to level, he rushed into it. Like, you could argue and say, everyone said he's too big. That fight is too big.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a classic that a young guy has been able to step up to the plate and take the fight with the hope that he'll lose. But for me, I think he's a smart guy in the sense that he knows if he loses, people say it's too soon and he'll come again. But if he wins, he took that risk and said, if I win, I will be great.
Yeah.
And I think that is a classic.
I probably is the word in, but I do agree with those points. And I think the smart thing that he's done is by taking that fight now, beating, there's no disputing Lomachenko was on the pound for pound list, beating a pound for pound unified champion, even if he doesn't fight Haney, Tank, Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, and he just goes up to 140, nobody can really criticize that, because guess what? Like you just said, he stepped up and took the biggest risk on paper, so it seemed, by defeating Lomachenko or fighting Lomachenko. So yeah, I'm definitely looking to get that going. Yes, Inam, he's asking, are the lines open? I see that. No, you know what? We're going to open the lines right now, actually. So yeah, start queuing people. Get the number 01506 353 955. So opening up the lines, going to our first caller, 597. 597, it's a one rounder. First time caller, how you doing? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm good, thanks. It's John here. I'm calling. I live in Milton Keynes and I work for the Boxing Voice and Punch Out Boxing. How are you?
Yes, John. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. We're good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. I'm enjoying the show so far. Good discussion on Lopez and Loma.
Thank you. Yes. And a big thank you for calling in. What would you like to talk to us about?
Well, I will start off on Lomachenko and Lopez. I think between you then did analysis of the actual fight. Do I think it was a classic fight? No, because I felt Lomachenko just didn't turn up for the first half of the fight. I found it really strange. I don't want to take anything away from Lopez.
Yeah.
I didn't have the score at 119, 109. I think probably about 116, 112 felt about right. But I just found it really weird that Lomachenko didn't turn up for the first half of the fight. Like, something could almost have been wrong, because once he got warmed up, he was much more in the fight. It was almost like he overlooked him, which would have been very naive. I don't think Lomachenko is done and shot. I just think he wasn't on it that night, took him for granted. I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch whilst it wasn't a classic. I think if he comes back and sort of like learns from what he did wrong, we could have that classic fight. That we should have had, but take nothing away from Lopez on that fight.
Yeah, no, great points. And in terms of, you spoke about the rematch. I mean, what do you think Lomachenko would have to do to get at least some more success if they were to get the rematch?
It's a good question. I think the thing is, the rematch will be really interesting because Lopez will be so much more confident from the first fight, so you could see an even better Lopez as well, which would make it interesting. I just think that Lomachenko, I think he definitely overlooked it. He was undefeated, he was a world champion, he probably thought that he wasn't at his level because he just didn't get going. So in answer to your question, he probably just needs to start from round one rather than easing his way into the fight, because I think after 6 rounds, for me, it was definitely 6-0.
Yeah.
So, he's got to win every round, maybe a knockdown on the way for a 10-8 round. And Lopez was just in control. It's almost like just slow out the blocks. But I think that Lomachenko, like I said, he's definitely not done for me. It's not like sometimes you see it sort of like changing over, the young lion coming through. It didn't feel like that, like he was finished. Yeah. Just overlooked it, I think. Yeah.
And also the weight difference at some stage, you could argue, would always take its toll, right? I know he's beaten the guys at 135 before, but you could always argue that, at 126, 130, he's still going to be a great champion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Luke Campbell fan. I was at the Luke Campbell fight, and I thought Luke gave a really good account of himself. But after watching that on Saturday night, I don't think I'd put Luke in the same class as Lopez. Yeah. And Lopez was definitely bigger. So I'm not sure that it was the weight that made Lomachenko lose. I just think he overlooked him.
Yeah, no.
Okay. John. Question. Where does Lopez go from here? Does he rematch?
I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch. I think there'll be people out there that want to see is at the end of Lomachenko at elite level. For many people, prior to that fight, he's definitely a pound-for-pound champ. So I've never seen anything wasn't overly impressed by him against Campbell. I thought Campbell gave a really good account of himself, and maybe that should have been a bit of a warning sign that Lopez would have been. I didn't think Lopez would win. I really didn't. I thought Lopez was good, but I expected Lomachenko to come through it. Probably similar scorecards to what Lopez actually did. I think let's go for the rematch. And if he comes through that, I wouldn't mind just seeing him beat the others. It's a good division. You've obviously got Javonta Davis, you've got Devin Haney, young Lions as well, so that they would be interesting fights. It's probably one of the most exciting divisions for me, along with the heavyweight at the moment.
Yeah, not 100%. Thank you very much, John. Listen, that's a great call. I just want to say, you know what? I just realized I saw your video with Dubois, the interview. I think it was it Monday or today? Great interview.
Thanks for the shout out. Yeah.
Great video. So, just want for those that are listening, you can catch John's videos either on the Boxing Voice or at Punch Out Boxing. But John, listen, thank you very much. We hope that we hear from you in the lead up to the Usyk Chisora and Tank Davis Santa Cruz fight. But I appreciate you calling in. Cheers, thanks. Yes, thank you. Moving out to 297, I want to say is Nostradamus Senior.
Hi lads, it's Uncle here.
Hi, Uncle.
Hello.
Uncle Nostradamus.
Yeah, your favorite uncle back.
Yes. How you doing, Uncle?
Hey guys, yeah. I think you've discussed it all really. But the one thing I would like to say is that it wasn't a case of Lomachenko not doing anything in the first 6-7 rounds. Teofimo Lopez shut him down. He controlled it with his jab, his power, angles, power, punches to the body, and he intimidated him. And the reason Lopez didn't move forward was he knew he would get knocked out early when he felt the power in round one. That intimidated him. He stepped it up in the second half of the fight when obviously Teofimo was obviously, as the rounds go by, you get more fatigue. But this is the thing. Whilst I did not score the fight 119 to 109, I agree with Kojo, it wasn't actually far off. Because the second half of the fight, whilst Loma was better, Teofimo was very much in there. So some of those rounds which people want to award to Loma could easily have gone to Lopez. You know, some of them were really 50-50 rounds. All through, he had the power. Yeah. You know, so I mean, I think I had it 118 to 110 personally. 116, 112. Well, I think that's a bit harsh, actually, on Teofimo. Maybe giving Loma only one round was a bit harsh to him. But I could easily seen that fight 9-3 to Lopez, 10-2 to Lopez, you know? So I don't think, I'm not, and to be honest, people who are complaining, I mean, Lopez, what's his name, Lomachenko should just accept his defeat like a man. He comes across as a so petty loser at the moment, in my honest opinion. Yeah. He was done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair point. Listen, Uncle, I want to ask you a question. It's moving off. I mean, look, firstly, I've got to say congrats for picking a underdog pick. I think that's the best way to say it, even though, you know, you've got your knowledge. It was an underdog pick if we look at the bookies, and it's the second time because he did that with Fury versus Wilder. But I want to talk to you about the Brook versus Crawford fight and get your thoughts. Now that's been officially announced.
Yeah, in fact, that's a very good one and an interesting one. I think Brook brings certain challenges to Crawford in terms of his size as a welter. If he makes the weight safely, then we have a fight. The problem is we don't know how diminished his sheer physicality, his size. Put it this way: prior to the Triple G fight, you'd have it as a 50-50 fight, as good as Crawford is.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a great smaller fighter moving up in weight against a very good welterweight. So I think at this moment I'd have to go for Bud Crawford. But this is the thing, is that Kell Brook has nothing to lose. This is Kell Brook's last opportunity to prove that he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
Because if he beats Crawford, then people will forget the losses to
Spence,
Triple G and Errol Spence, and there will be some level of redemption. So he's got a lot to shoot for. And, you know, to my mind, this is the first, what I call the first elite welterweight. I think Crawford is fighting at the 147-pound division.
Okay. No, great.
So I have a question for you, lads.
Yep.
What is about the title for the best tag? Pulev and AJ. I can't believe the guy said that.
I know. That's ridiculous, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I thought it was a joke.
I know. I want to say it was cheap publicity, but I don't want to sound bad when I say it. But like, look, he's from that part of the world. I don't know what he was thinking. Do I think it was massively sinister? No. I just think it was dumb and I can't even say ill-advised. It's just dumb.
Sorry, before you move on,
Yeah.
one final thing you touched upon. I think Bob Arum obviously is pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I think they were expecting Lomachenko to win. Top rank were... So I wouldn't be surprised if Lopez ends up leaving Top rank.
Okay, yeah, Sam was saying. I would like to know what kind of a contract he has with them. Like, is there 2 fights left? Is there 1 fight left? I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could make sense for him to stay.
Yeah.
Because you have Josh Taylor. But one thing I think we need to be clear about, I don't think Teofimo Lopez is going to fight a lightweight ever again. You know, he struggled to make lightweight. It was a very big lightweight.
Yeah.
He's going to be more comfortable at 140. And to be honest, like his father said, there's no reason for a rematch because it won't be a close fight.
Exactly. And that's...
I don't think they can pay him enough for the rematch.
Yeah.
You'd only take the rematch if you're going to get a hell of a lot of money. And I don't think no man makes that. So what no man needs to do is, if he wants to redeem himself, but I don't think he's going to do it because I know Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerby were holding Tank back on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to let him mature a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, because my guy Tank will give you the knockout.
Yeah.
Lomachenko.
Definitely.
And I've been on record. I've said it. When they want it, we'll accommodate them in Las Vegas.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah.
Great. No, great place, Uncle. Listen, we gave you a bit extra time because of your Nostradamus prediction, but we're gonna have to move on to the next caller. But thank you.
Cheers, Uncle.
And take care. Speak soon. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Going out to 985, Mr. Appiah. How you doing, sir?
Apps, talk to me.
Hello, Mr. Appiah. All right, we're gonna have to move on. We can't hear you. 644. Coming out to 644. Hello.
Yes, Kojo, what are you doing?
Yes.
How you doing, man?
We're doing good, mate. What's going on?
Nah, all good, man. I'm still buzzing off the weekend. That late night morning.
Snap.
On a Sunday.
You also predicted Lopez, right? Didn't you last week? Actually, now that I think about it.
Yes, I said Lopez was gonna smoke him though.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll give you your flowers.
the way it's going to transpire is Lopez is going to come on hard on Loma from the start, yeah, and hopefully because of his size will tire Chink out, and in the end will take him out. That was I thought was going to be the game plan. So I think to some extent they were doing that. You can see in the early rounds the body punches. You know, they were doing the body punches to try and slow him down. The jab was really, really strong, you know. But Loma, I think, reversed that tactic completely. I think his tactic was to make Lopez get tired through the early rounds, right? And hopefully, when he kept on saying take him in the deep end, he thought Lopez going to tire out in the second half of the fight and he's going to take him over with a view to stop him. Because we know Lomachenko is quite a vindictive character.
Yes.
We've seen that before where people, you know, have taken the piss out of him where he's gone ultra aggressive on them, right? And it backfired massively, you know?
Yeah.
And all congratulations and all props to the new champion, the youngest undisputed champion in history, you know? Amazing guy. I mean, his post-fight interview was just brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
Really showed what his character is about. A very classy guy, incredibly intelligent guy. He's not about the bullshit, you know? He's showing up all the other pretenders. I mean, all the others just look like absolute posers now, right? The likes of Devin Haney fighting a washed-up Gamboa.
Email champ.
Javon Tank Davis fighting Santa Cruz, who's from two weight divisions below. We all know the story with him and Floyd when he came to the talks with Lomachenko. You know, so Lopez is the don, man. He is the king. You know, he's the king at the division now. You know.
Yeah, the new lightweight king is crowned. And question for you. In terms of Lopez, what would you like to see him do next? Would you like to see him move up, or would you like to defend the belts or acquire the WBC belt? At least fight to get the WBC.
I think there's quite well. The whole WBC thing is a bit confusing, yeah. Because before the fight, Mauricio Suleiman categorically stated this is for the WBC belt. The winner will become undisputed. Let's not forget they basically elevated Lomachenko to this fake franchise thing that they've got, right? And they gave the belt by email to Devin Haney, right? So really, Lomachenko never lost the belt, you know what I mean? So in all aspects, really, Lopez is the undisputed champ. That cannot be denied, right? I think, you know, there's still a lot of stuff for him to do. There's a lot of big fights there at 135. You know, you got the likes of Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell. That fight is a good fight if you can make it past Luke Campbell. Javon Tank Davis, that's a good fight. You know, Devin Haney, that could be built up to be a super fight in a couple of years. You know, if they, you know, I mean, Lopez is a star now. He's a star. Haney needs to do similar kind of things now, right, to get his star at that kind of level, right? And that could be a big fight, man. That could be a mega fight in the future. There's also some top guys in the division below, like some Miguel Berchel, guys like this, you know, coming up from 130. I mean, there's some serious fights to be had, right? So I think he needs to do all of that, you know, clean up. Definitely like 140 pounds. He's just on the belts, man. I don't think he should move up yet. He needs to enjoy himself, enjoy what he's achieved, you know, have a good few more fights. As to what he said that interview as well, right? He said, all these cats, right, they, you know, they want to wear necklaces and stuff, but they ain't got a dime between them. So everyone wants to be like Mayweather, yeah? But they all forget Mayweather when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. He was doing those fights, man, like the likes of Morales, you know,
Exactly. Real talk, bro.
Floyd, right?
Tell him again.
Floyd, like, you know, this defensive master, yeah? But everyone forgets what they don't know, right? Floyd was a beast.
Exactly.
Yeah? A super feather, right? And at 135 pounds, he was an absolute beast, right? And that's what Lopez is saying, yeah? He doesn't want to take any shortcuts, and I don't think we're going to see that with him, you know?
Yeah, no, great points.
No, 100%, bro. And now talk to me. Brook versus sorry, not Brook versus Carr. I wish. Brook versus Crawford has been announced. Is this the last chance saloon for Brook? What do you think?
It is the last chance saloon for Brook in the sense that it's probably his last big payday. Yeah, it's probably going to be his last fight as well. I don't see any chance of him winning, right? I mean, I predict this fight was going to happen as soon as the Khan fight, yeah? Because they've got no options, man. Like, strategically, they're tied down, right? There's no way PBC is going to allow him to fight their belt holders with the view of risking all the belts ended up with top rank. It's just not going to happen, right? They gave him Porter, they didn't want to fight Porter. That basically means he's got to look for welterweights outside PBC. That's only like real name ones we had were like the Khan and Brook. So this was going to happen, right? I mean, I think Brook's going to get absolutely battered, in my opinion. You know, I think it's going to. Yeah, I think this is going to be the last chance, and he is going to quit. I mean, he hasn't got a heart. That's one thing we know. Everyone can like diss Khan and say he's got a chin, but one thing we know is the guy goes out on a shield, right? That some people can say the same thing about Brook.
Okay. All right, that's fair. I can see what camp you're lying in, but no, again, you're being real and honest with it. So listen, and I appreciate the call as always. We run up your round. Appreciate the support, and look forward to hearing your thoughts when Usyk and Chisora get together.
Yeah, man.
Speak soon. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thanks. We're gonna try and get back to Daniel.
Hello, James, how we doing? Really sorry about earlier. The headphones I'm using, I can hear you.
Okay.
You can hear me.
Come on.
Tuned in, just on the grind, and
Yes.
tuning in as usual. You know what I mean?
Yes. No boys, brother. What's on your mind? Any comments that you anything you wanna say?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I'll just say a couple of things really quickly.
Go ahead.
Absolutely fantastic win by Lopez on the weekend. So, like, you know, Lomachenko wasn't that he didn't show up. He just couldn't deal with Lopez. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Lopez, he weren't going home without them belts. You could see that. And when a man's like that, you ain't stopping it.
Yeah.
So, good luck to Lopez moving forward. Lomachenko, he will be back. Good fighter. But I just think Lopez had a bit too much for him. If they fight again, I can see the same outcome again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
It's hard not to, yeah.
Daniel, quick one. Do you think he needs to rematch Loma to prove himself?
Yeah, do you know what, Sam? Yeah, he can rematch Loma. I think it'll be the same outcome though, Sam. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he might even stop him next time. I think it's like that, yeah. I really do think he's got his number.
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. Brook versus Crawford, though. I keep saying Carl. Brook versus Crawford. Who you got?
Say that Crawford versus Brook, did you say?
Yeah, versus Cal Brook.
Crawford versus Brook, you asking me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crawford all day, innit?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Brook for me. I mean,
yeah.
It's going to be a tough night for him, you know? Terence Crawford, serious fighter. It's going to be a tough night for Brook.
Yeah.
Yeah? And I can only see one winner. Really, just very quickly, really looking forward to Usyk and Chisora. Really looking forward to that fight.
Yeah.
The contrasting styles of the two fighters, really chomping at the bit for that fight. Really looking forward to it.
Can we get a prediction? Can we get an early prediction? Or you wanna...
I'm going to go for Usyk to win on points. I'm going to go for Usyk win. Yeah, and I think it'll be it'll be tough for him. Be tough, but I think Usyk will come through it. Yeah, I'm going to go for Usyk.
Nice. No, I appreciate that, Daniel. Listen, thank you very much for the support as always. Don't forget, for all those, but Daniel, before we go, do you want to just pick up the channel again, let people know where they can listen to your motivational tracks, speeches.
Yeah, well, YouTube, Daniel Appy, the motivational speaker. Daniel Appy, the motivational speaker Facebook page. Daniel Appy, I'm 38
I'm the man that's going to keep you on your toes. I'm always there.
Yeah.
To just tune into the channel.
No worries, man, brother. Thank you very much. As always, keep up the great work, and we'll catch up with you next week for sure.
No doubt. God bless you all.
Cheers. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, no, I think that's a good, fair comment from most of the fans. I think, like I said, yourself, which is not too bad. Yourself, Uncle Benga, and then 3 people picking Lopez. So I think that's quite a good look to start with. I think before we move on, I think you wanted to talk about. I think you were able to get the ratings for the fight.
Yes, the ratings have been announced. I think everyone's going a bit crazy. I heard it was something like 3 million. It peaked at 3 million viewers. I think so. Let me read it out. Lightweight title unification bout peaked at almost 3 million television viewers, making it the most viewed boxing telecast across all cable networks since 2019. It was also the most ever streamed boxing event on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So the last ESPN Plus, they're not really a boxing heavy platform. So
yes, that's still good though.
But it's still good. But the 3 million television viewers, it peaked at, like, we're starting to hear real numbers now. This is boxing having almost football numbers. It's really good to hear, you know, compared to having before and hearing about other shows on a few 100,000 if we're lucky and peak that. So look,
I mean, I think what's good is for Lomachenko is that's a lot of viewers that he's ever had. Obviously, we know that's going to be the case for Lopez, but Lomachenko's had quite a few fights in the US, so you would have thought he would have done close to that. But I think from a viewership, because even his fights are rarely pay-per-view, he's quite low. So to get 2.8, just under 3 million, I saw it's 2.89. I think, to be fair, it's cracking. It is free to air, so it makes it more enticing for people to watch. You know, you can't compare it to 3 million pay-per-view price, but I think with everything that's going on, I think it kind of highlights that, listen, boxing is still up there. People do want to see the fights, and I think, even though I say the fight wasn't a classic, some people would have thought it was, obviously, like you said it was. But I think no matter what, the 2 draws, the 2 names, the 2 styles drew a lot of eyes. So, yeah, long may it continue.
No, 100%, man. Brother, it's crazy. Good to hear.
So before we wrap up, because we spent a lot of time on the US card, on a quick one, let's just quickly go through the Matchroom card. I think that was all a bit of... it all went Pete Tong. I think the best place to start is Cash Ashfaq. Big up the guys at 258. I know they signed him on, brought him on. Damage. Unfortunately, he didn't get the result that he was looking for. So he'll move on and come on strong again. I think the biggest real talking point of the night has to be the Ritson and Vasquez, not just the performance of Terry O'Connor, kind of doing what you're doing now, like looking down at the phone, not concentrating. But yeah, overall, I mean, look, it was kind of an average card. I mean, what do you think? I'm forgetting the results. I mean, what do you think British boxing need to do to look at how decisions are made? Because this is twice for Vasquez since he's fought in the UK. But even through the whole fight camp, there were decisions that didn't make sense. What would you think they can do?
I think, bro, this has always been a historic thing in boxing, and especially in the UK, it's become more apparent over the years. I mean, when I started realizing that judges started making dodgy decisions was back when Martin Murray fought, I think it's Gabe Rosado, set to fight Daniel, the Miracle Man, Daniel Jacobson. He had a scorecard that was so far out, you would think it was just there, and that was ridiculous. And he said to himself, "I never want to fight in the UK again." Now we're looking at what's really going down, and they're giving the UK a bad name. Even Wilder was like, "Look, I don't want to fight in the UK. He wants to fight in the UK with those judges in the backyard." And even people thought, let's look at Anthony Joshua now, right? When he fought Klitschko in Wembley, they had AJ up on points after Klitschko was dominating him. Probably, I'd say, past that 5th round when he knocked him out, and then I had Klitschko up on points, and I thought, "Oh, this is going to be close. I think Klitschko's going to edge it and win it." But then before knocked him out in the 11th round, they had AJ up by 4 rounds. And I said, hang on, I don't know what fight you were watching. That was not what happened, you know?
Yeah.
It's this thing's always happened. And then to see an actual referee on the phone texting and speaking and communicate with someone. Obviously, we don't know what was going on because we didn't see what was on the phone. But I also think with a scorecard like that, I don't think any kind of judges should have any access to any content, anything. Judging, because that's what they're meant to do. They should be looking at their phone. They should be concentrating.
To be fair to him, I mean, I can't say conclusively, but it looks like he could have been looking at some type of a scorecard device. Don't ask me how, what, but there has been some rumors refuting that it wasn't a phone. I do believe he's in front of the British Board of Boxing Control today.
Yeah, he's been investigated.
Yeah, they just pulled him in to just ask him some questions. Look, I don't think nothing's really going to happen. I think the Vasquez decision was more of a shambles. I think this just maybe takes over that. But I think the real focus should be, decisions. You're talking about that. I think if I looked at the Natasha Jonas fight, she fought the Terry Harper at the fight camp. For me, that was a clear Jonas win. She didn't get the decision. So yeah, I think it definitely needs to be looked at. But look, this is boxing. And I'm not giving Lomachenko an easy day. He did let the fans down. But yeah, I'll say, look, generally, I think they just need to look at it. And I think the promoters, luckily, Adam Smith's been quite open. Eddie Hearn's been quite open about it as well. So let's see. I mean, look, for certain guys, they're always going to get the decision. You name Joshua. But I think, you don't want that reputation to start creeping in because that's going to be a big problem, in my opinion. So listen, I think that's it for today. We might as well wrap it up. We did a big show out on Sunday. So everyone that's tuned into this podcast, please look out for the Sunday show. We need those likes, subscriptions, and comments in their droves. So please continue to support us. Subscribe, like the channel, Raps on TV. Sam, before we go, do you want to shout out your social media handles?
Give me a shout, people. SD Raps on TV. That's SDWOTV. All handles, all social media, all different platforms, SDWOTV. And yeah, guys, thanks for calling in. We've had some great responses. Last week's show was unbelievable, really uplifting. Shows that you like our content and we like what you guys do and what you come to propose. And we look forward to announcing more stuff and getting more guests on in the future, man.
100%. So everyone that's tuned in, listen, appreciate the support as always. Like I said, no boxing, not much boxing this weekend. So it's a fairly quiet one. Okay, we just got a conflict. He was looking at the phone for more than a brief moment, but that's not what. Yeah, fair point. If it's been confirmed, it's a phone, but Paul, that's a great point. I just heard that it may not be a phone, but yeah. I think, like you said, Sam, just moving on from that. We've got to get more content, more fans, more engagement, and then we're gonna, as they say, we're gonna bust through the scene. But yeah, appreciate everyone's support as usual, and we're gonna sign out in 3, 2, 1.